let me just take all that anger and frustration and talk to, just take all of that, not, all that mushiness and channel it through the scene. And it ended up being probably one of my favorite scenes I've ever done in my life.
I love this film. I thought it was so great. I watched it in broad daylight and I was still like, are the doors locked? Like it had me scared. Your character in particular is absolutely terrifying. So great job. What was it like getting inside his head?
It's such a long time ago. I can't remember, but I think you try to think of what is the worst possible date or the worst possible version of you. Does that make sense? Creating a character like that, like Ethan, it's always interesting. It's a collaboration between the writer, the director, your co-host, and you. And costume and settings and cinematographer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you bring something to the table and people will help you create the image that she, the director, wants. And you take it from there. I'm not married to any decisions. I feel it's something that happens between you and me. And I think you should be open for different interpretations, et cetera. If you do the same scene the same way, like 25 times, how boring is that? You know what I mean? It's just like boring. So no, he's not based on anyone I met. He's not like, oh, it's my dad. It's my dad. My dad.
Oh gosh, that'd be terrifying.
No, that's how we treat each other in Denmark. No, not at all. I'm like, the scene that I'm very proud of, and that's the prison scene. There's a scene in a prison which I loved because there's so many layers and he's so psychotic, but also very polite and playful and curious. So what happened there, the reason why the scene became like it did was because we did like 2 hours of recording it and it didn't work. It just didn't work. And Shana, she was like, I don't know, it's the writing, it's the light, it's just not working. And I felt so frustrated and angry and upset. I just went like, let me just take all that anger and frustration and talk to, just take all of that, not, all that mushiness and channel it through the scene. And it ended up being probably one of my favorite scenes I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I know exactly what scene you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I also wanted to ask, did you know right away, like, did you get a character description? Did you know that your character wasn't human, or was this something you found out as you were reading the script?
No, I thought he was just a rich boy.
Right.
I thought he was just this rich guy. It was like, I kind of, in the church, I kind of went like, oh. And then we made a decision. I thought it would be so much cool. I was like, what if every time he gets bloody or every time something happens, it magically disappears? I just thought that would be funny. And then went like, yeah, we kind of like that. So some big decisions can be made on the spot where you go like, I kind of like this. And the director goes like, so do I. And when the audience see it, they're like, okay, that's a crazy decision. And you're like, yeah, we kind of just made it while eating a burrito. And it was pure luck and coincidence. It actually turned out well because 9 out of 10 times when you make a decision like that, it's shit. But sometimes it works. I also love the scene in the house with the music and the dancing and stuff like that.
Yes. That reminds me that a lot of the action kind of took place off screen. Like you don't really see him doing the attacks at first. How much stunts did you actually have to do? Because there are some scenes later on where you're doing some action shots.
Not a lot. The end, crawling on the floor, like, but besides that, not a lot. There weren't a lot of stunts. But that's the thing. When you come from a country like Denmark, you're used to be working with a budget of like zero money. This is also like I don't know if this is a low budget film or a non-budget film. I don't know what they would categorize it. It's a Blumhouse production. He has his way of creating films. I just know that when you do stunts and you have CGI and you have blood and you have all these things, they cost. So you want to be creative. And I think Shanna did an incredible job being very, very creative.
Awesome. Well, thank you for chatting with me. I'm going to have to wrap, but I enjoyed it a lot and enjoyed this film.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm eating. I haven't had lunch. It's my first Doritos. It's my first Doritos ever. And it's amazing.
Enjoy them.